Hey guys, today we're talking about many names for numbers, and I also call this AKA, also known as equivalent, which means equal names. Your learning objectives. I can give equivalent mathematical expressions for whole numbers. I can use conventional notation to write expressions using the four basic arithmetic operations. That would be plus, minus, multiplication, and division. Those are the conventions, or those are the operations, I should say. And then I can insert grouping symbols to make number sentences true. So how can you use our signs to make number sentences true? It sounds like a lot, but let's get started with something that you know how to do already, which is name collection boxes. And here is an example of one that you'll see, and you'll see at the top it's blue shaded. Sometimes they won't be shaded, but you'll always see a number usually at the top. And then there will be blank spaces before. It looks like someone ripped a piece of notebook paper out. So in name collection boxes, your job is to come up with equivalent or equal names for the number that is given. Today we have the number 12 to start off with. So how can you, or what other ways can you name the number 12? You could say, starting off pretty easy, 11 plus 1. 11 plus 1 is equal to 12. 11 plus 1 is an equal name to 12. You could also say 14 minus 2. 14 minus 2 equals 12, which is equivalent to the 12 in our name collection box. Oops, I'll write that back down again. You could also say words are okay. A dozen. A dozen is the same thing as 12. That's an equal name. All right? But there's something else. We got to kick it up a notch to 4th grade level. All right? I want you to think of these as kind of like math puzzles, like you're trying to stump Mrs. McPhail, but more specifically Mr. Nutty. And Mr. Nutty loves fancy words and numbers. I want you to see what combination of numbers or what words you can use to come up with these name collection boxes. I have an example of more of a 4th grade level on the side over here, and you can see they're a little bit more complicated. They're not 16 minus 0. I don't want to see anything like that, by the way. No 16s minus 0. No anything minus 0. We can do higher than that. But we have multiplication. We have some higher addition. They're using numbers in the hundreds here to solve for this. And they have some number sentences or expressions. Here they have 10 plus 60 divided by 12, or 10. So these are kind of like math puzzles. They're going to stretch your brain a little bit. If we were to try one for number 24, let's see. We could say 2 dozen. A dozen is 12. So 12 plus 12, or 12 times 2 is 24. We could say 100 minus 76. That would get us 24. We could say 8 times 4, which is 32. And then I still have to get, just going to write myself a note. I have to get to 24, so I would have to subtract 8. Also, when you have more than one sign in a number sentence, we have to put parentheses around what we're going to do first. It's like the direction, do this first. So this tells me I have to multiply 8 times 4 first. All right, that gets me to 24. And then maybe one more. I could do 48 divided by 2. All right. So, make these 4th grade level. Make them fun for you, but don't make them so difficult that you can't solve them. But let's see if you can stretch your brain a little bit. One more thing, we kind of just touched on this a little bit, but let's just check in here. If I had something like this written, I want to know where would you put the signs, if at all, plus, minus, multiplication, or division. I'm ending up at the answer of 22. These numbers, somehow, using these signs, get me to 22. This is kind of trial and error. You're going to need a pencil for this and jot these numbers down and play around with it a little bit. I might think, well, let's try 3 plus 5 plus 7, and where does that get me? Well, 3 plus 5, and when I do these, I always usually jot myself a note below. I'll do 3 plus 5, which is 8. Whoops, sorry, my board's kind of crazy today. So 3 plus 5 gives me 8. And then I just rewrite the numbers. Plus 7. Well, that only gets me to 15. So I know that can't be it. So now we gotta try something else. This is kind of a bigger number compared to these. So maybe I'll do 3 times 5. And then I'll add on 7. You might not get these the first time. So multiplication tells me I have to do it first. So I'm going to do this first. So I'm going to put parentheses around it. That would be 15. And then I'm just going to rewrite the rest of it. 15 plus 7. Oh, and what do you know? 15 plus 7 gets me to 22.